Mm. Yeah, I can't say that I'm a fan of classic Sonic, really, for the most part, but that is definitely an aspect of it that I can appreciate. How it's not just the straight path, but there's lots of split paths that go to the same place. This might have been something that I mentioned in this LP, which, I mean, I'm saying this LP even though this is a stream, but it's going to be part of the LP. I like the progression in Ocarina of Time, where you're kind of supposed to go through the dungeons in a specific order as far as I know, but you can still do some of them out of order. Like, it's heavily implied that as soon as you become an adult, you're supposed to go to the Forest Temple first, but you can go to the Fire Temple if you want. I think that's kind of nice. And then the Shadow Temple and the Spirit Temple you can do in either order. So it's like segments of the game where you can make a choice. The original Sonics, I guess I'm not really a fan of the controls, for one thing, where it takes such a long time to accelerate, and that makes it harder to make precise jumps. And then another thing is, it seems like they're all about speed, but then the levels can be designed in such a way where you run along and you're having a good time, and then all of a sudden you just run into spikes. And that doesn't seem very fair to me. I like this. This is good. Someone needs to just take this motion and apply some kind of pop music to it. I imagine that the original Sonic games are a whole lot of fun if you already know how to beat them, because, well, like you said, I feel like it's trial and error until then. Okay, I'm glad that you, I think the flames just... Oh yeah, you spin me right around would be... That would be certainly fitting. I don't know why I didn't think about that one. I was gonna say, I think that the freezing mechanic of the Re-Dead was blocked by people shooting at me. Or moblins or miblins or whatever these are. Okay. I did not think this through. Thankfully that was a good attack. I'm not really the biggest fan of motion controls for aiming, but I guess it works well enough. I feel like that would be nice right about now, to make this a little bit easier. Nope. And I guess when people use motion, or when the Wii U uses motion controls and the Switch uses motion controls for aiming, I guess it's not really that much different than like using a mouse to aim on a computer. You know what these Re-Deads kind of remind me of? Even though this is a stupid thing to say, they remind me of Sonic Boom, just because they have so many bandages. Bandages in places where they don't even need to be, like the sword was bandaged. Oh good, it's another room with these guys. My favorite. anyone seen Potato Salad? That is a good short, not an animation, but it's a good short with Chris O'Neill and Rice Pirate. I'm just thinking about when, I guess Burglor, at least when he appears, there's just the noise in the background of just ongoing the whole time. That short is the epitome of stupid for all the right reasons. Yeah, speaking of Sonic, what are, first of all, people's thoughts on Sonic Mania? And then, what are people's thoughts on Sonic Forces? Because even though I'm not really a fan of classic Sonic, Sonic Mania looks really cool to me. And I feel like it has the potential to be pretty awesome, especially since it seems like it's not being made by Sonic Team as they usually are. It seems to be more of like a fan creation, which doesn't necessarily make it automatically good, but like the people who are making it seem to be really good at what they do. And Sonic Forces I don't really have that much of an opinion on, because I think the OC thing is kind of weird, but also makes sense, I guess. It will be unusual if you can't actually play as Sonic in the game. But I think you can. I think that was in one of the trailers, so never mind. Oh yeah, the new Bubsy. I made the comparison on Twitter that it looks a whole lot like Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams, which I have played, and I liked that game from what I played of it, but it also seemed a little bit too difficult for my liking at times. Okay, what is going on? Why can't I spin attack? There we go, that's better. Yeah, if the new Bubsy is anything like that, I assume it will be actually a good game, but not necessarily one that's that memorable. Okay, I think this might be the final room. Is this the final room? Is there a fourth one? Is it just the 3? Oh, no, wait. Oh, gosh. There are these enemies. I don't like these enemies either. Okay, readjusting. Stretching because I've been slouching for too long. Because I don't know of a better way to make this microphone setup work. Yeah, it's bad enough whenever there's only one of these flying lizards. But they can't really be ignored. I maintain that Sonic Adventure 1 is the best Sonic game, even though nobody will agree with me. Yeah, is Bubsy at peak meme time because, specifically because of Sonic Forces, when everyone said that the make-your-own Sonic character looks like Bubsy? Yeah, Bubsy is actually coming back. Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back, or whatever it's called. Which is quite a name. The Woolies are still... If they're the enemy that I think they are in the game, they're like the worst Goomba equivalents ever. Yeah, let's base our entire franchise around these things. Yep, this is a good room. I like it. Totally not too much going on at once. No. Right. Well, soon enough, the fairy is gonna kick in. I've played some of Generations. I think I mostly played the levels that were based around the Sonic Adventure games. And while I can say that they're certainly done well in their revamped ways, I don't know if I enjoy them as much for some reason. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna give up on the whole fairies tears thing. Seeing if you can get 2 bottles at once. I don't know if it's really worth it. It would be fun to find out on my own, but eh. This room is just too annoying to justify only using the ferry. Yeah, Adventure is a very, very flawed game. But sometimes I feel like the flaws in games make them more appealing somehow. Like, part of the fun is in trying to break them. Like Donkey Kong 64 is a game that's programmed to be sort of a mess. But I don't think it's a mess in a bad way most of the time. Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, no. Because I don't really run into glitches in Sonic Adventure unless I'm actively looking out for them. And when I do, it's pretty easy, but it's still... I don't know, I think that's just part of the charm. That's part of the ironic charm, I guess, but I also unironically enjoy the game. And another one becomes the dust. Yeah, 06... Sonic 06 does seem to be one of those games that people enjoy for the glitches. But... okay, this looks like the final room here. Sonic 06 looks a little bit too glitchy. Alright, we're in the final territory here. I'm pretty sure this is the last room because now there are 4 of these guys. At some point I kind of have an interest in beating the whole game with 3 hearts, this whole game. But I don't know if I would ever bother with the Cave of Ordeals if I did that, because that seems just a little bit too ridiculous. I'm enjoying how there's residual damage on those bomb arrows. Seeing Sonic 06 Ghost in it. That's an interesting way of putting it. Mass Effect is another one of those games that I don't know much about it. Aside from the fact that in the first one there's a character named after Leroy Jenkins. For some reason. I had a friend in high school who claimed to be Leroy Jenkins. And he used a pitch shifter for his voice. I don't know if he was telling the truth or not. It seemed believable enough. Like, I haven't looked up to see who Leroy Jenkins is in person. So... yeah. He was probably joking around, but it was hard to tell with him because everything he said was kind of jokey. That was a staged video? That's something that I had not heard. I mean, in retrospect, that makes sense, but... huh. It'd certainly be funnier if it wasn't staged. Then I'm not sure exactly why they would be recording it if... well, The story that my friend told me was that it was this new area that nobody had ever really explored before or beaten, and it was a big deal that they were going to get through it, and he, like, made a fool of himself just for the heck of it, just for fun. But if that's not the true story, then okay. Leroy Jenkins is still kind of a funny meme, although I don't know if the term meme existed back then. Sonic 06 is a game that I'm afraid to play. Not even necessarily because of the bad design, but I feel like I would get fed up with that many loading screens. But it's kind of amazing how self-aware the Sonic team is, or Sega. I don't know if it's Sonic team specifically, but they are so self-aware that Sonic 06 was a terrible game. To the point where they had this Twitter post. Was it... I don't know if it was like Sonic's 20th anniversary or 25th or something, but they had a video showing all of the different Sonic games, showing a little piece that represents each one, and for Sonic 06 it just said, now loading, and then it moved on to the next game. It's pretty excellent. The official Sonic Twitter account is kind of great. I like how we're not talking about Zelda in a Zelda stream. Not that it matters. It's not like I ever talk about the game anyways whenever I'm Let's Playing it. Oh, whoops. Out of bomb arrows. What just happened? Interesting. Okay, I didn't know this was a thing. You can just press R to break the combo. Oh, I'm out of arrows. Oh, I see. I didn't realize that. Well, I mean, we're at the end of the road here, so it's not like it matters that much. As long as I can get these guys to separate a little bit. Come on over here. The countdown to their live streams is the loading screen. Excellent. I'm really curious now how people would receive Sonic 06 if it was optimized to not have all those loading screens, or at least not have nearly as long ones, and if some of the more obvious design choices were fixed, like some of the more obvious mistakes. Because I feel like it would be probably not on par with Sonic Adventure in my eyes, but it could be a pretty enjoyable game. Then again, is that also the one where Sonic kisses a human person? That's a little bit strange. I'm not sure if I would care for that part as much. Yeah. Even though I generally prefer Nintendo's games, I respect Sega a lot more as a company than I do Nintendo. Nintendo seems kind of out of touch. Well, I think as long as I'm careful, I should be able to get through this Cave of Ordeals. This Cave of Ordeals. You know. As opposed to all the other Caves of Ordeals. There is that one in Twilight Princess HD that's not exactly the Cave of Ordeals, but it's like the wolf version. Which, I think that's for getting stickers or something, which is kind of I don't know how I feel about that. It seems like just more padding for the game. But it's fine if people like it. Yeah, well, the Mother 4 rebrand, I don't know if Nintendo actually said anything about that. I think they just rebranded it because they wanted to make sure that Nintendo wouldn't get a hold of it and say, hey, you can't post this. But maybe Nintendo has said something about that since then, and I'm not really sure. I am looking forward to not Mother 3 anymore, or not Mother 4 anymore. Seems like it'll be cool. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Earthbound, I still like a lot of its ideas, and Mother 3 is one of my favorite games, so... And we got the Great Fairy's Tears again, even though I had them earlier and there was no reason to go through this again. Oddly promiscuous moment. I mean, maybe not promiscuous, that might not be the right word, but... Kid Adventure 4. Big's Big Fishing Adventure 3. Thanks everyone for watching. I don't really know how to end this. I will just, I don't know, I will set a bomb in front of Link. Have it blow up in his face. And then I will say meatloaf, and the stream will be over. Parrots.